Hello everyone, welcome to the Yarn Bowl. Today in this video we're going to see how to crochet this beautiful rainbow plushie. I have worked this rainbow plushie with Parfait Chunky yarn, but if you don't have the plush yarn, you can also work the very same pattern with size 4 acrylic yarn. Both of them looks very cute. You can make the small one worked with acrylic yarn as a keychain, and this one as a big plushie. So it's a very simple easy pattern. I especially love the clouds. I worked the clouds in bobble stitch, so you're gonna love this. And both of them look equally good. So come on, let's get started. If you want a free written pattern of this rainbow with clouds, you can find it on my website, theyarnbowlcrochet.com. Link for that is available in the description. And if you're having an Instagram account, do follow me on my Instagram handle as well. I post project updates and fun reels on my Instagram. And if you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the Yarn Bowl and click on the bell icon as well, so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. So I'm going to choose Premier Yarns Parfait Chunky for working this pattern. So I've chosen 6 colors for working this rainbow with clouds. So I'm going to alternate the colors to match the rainbow pattern, and I'm going to use 5mm crochet hook to work this rainbow, and I'll also need a blunt tip of metal crochet hook, which I always use to tuck in the odd bits of the yarn. So if you're going to sew this rainbow, you're going to need a sewing needle, but I'm not going to sew it. I'm going to make it as a no sew pattern. So as I told you, I'll use the blunt tip of the metal crochet hook to tuck the odd bits of the yarn. We'll need scissors, polyfil, and we'll also need a hot glue gun for attaching the clouds to the rainbow. And if you don't have the plush yarn, you can also work the very same pattern using a size 4 acrylic yarn. Let's start with rainbow. So I'm going to start with the purple yarn. I'm leaving a long end and then starting to work a slip knot. Just don't forget this. Leave a long end before starting your chains. So this is a foundation round. So we are going to work 16 chains. So once you have worked 16 chains, you're going to work a slip stitch on top of the starting chain to close this round. So we have worked our foundation round. Let's start with round 1. With the same color purple yarn, I'm going to work a chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and then I'm going to work 1 single crochet on the same stitch, and then in the next chain I'm going to work 2 single crochet on the same chain. So I'm going to alternate between 1 single crochet in one chain and 2 single crochet on the next chain around. So this is gonna bring our stitch count to 24 stitches. So always make sure you count the number of stitches at the end of each round. Sometimes during the start you could work a extra chain or extra stitch. So make sure you count the number of stitches you have worked at the end of each round. So after working your last stitch, work a slip stitch on top of your starting stitch. Now you can snip off your yarn and then add green color yarn or teal color yarn to start with round 2. Now for round 2, I'm going to work a chain 1. this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So for the pattern for round 2 is we work 1 single crochet each in 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet worked on the same stitch. But you don't want sharp edges, you want to make it as a perfect round, right? So I'm gonna just on the start I'll just modify this pattern little bit. Now I'm going to start with 1 single crochet in 1 stitch and then I'll work 2 single crochet on the next stitch. But the pattern is 1 single crochet each on 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet worked on the next chain. Just that I'm starting off like this so that we have a very neat round. Otherwise the edges are gonna look sharp if you're gonna follow the increments and decrements around the same corner. So and then continue working 1 single crochet each in 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch around. So you will be left with 1 stitch at the end because we just started off with working 1 single crochet in 1 stitch and 2 single crochet in the next stitch. So to complete the pattern you'll be left with 1 single crochet at the end or 1 stitch at the end in which you'll be working 1 single crochet. Just follow the pattern of working 1 single crochet each for 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So at the end you'll be left with 1 stitch. And make sure you work 1 single crochet on the stitch. After that you can work a slip stitch on top of the starting stitch. So make sure you count the number of stitches. You should have 32 stitches at the end of this round. So after this, snip off your yarn and then change the yarn color to yellow. So after changing the yarn color to yellow, the pattern is working 1 single crochet each in 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet on the same stitch on the next stitch. But as I told you earlier, we're going to not start off the increments on the same side because we want to work a perfect round. So we're going to modify this pattern a little bit. Start off with the chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. For this round I'll start with the increment first. So I'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch on the starting stitch, and then you'll be left with 3 stitches at the end to complete your pattern. So now on I'll start working 1 single crochet each for 3 stitches and then I'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. I've worked 1 single crochet each for 3 stitches and then now I'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. You're going to complete this pattern around. So at the end you'll be left with 3 stitches. So like I told you, we are left with 3 stitches at the end. I'm going to work 1 single crochet on each of the stitches and then I'll work a slip stitch on top of my starting single crochet stitch to close this round 3. So you should have 40 stitches at the end of the round. You also make sure you count your number of stitches at the end of each round. So now your round 3 is complete. You're going to snip off your yarn and change your yarn color to coral or peach. And then the pattern for this round is we work 1 single crochet each for 4 stitches and then we work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. As I told you, we're just going to modify this pattern a little bit. We just work 1 single crochet each for 2 stitches and we work 2 single crochet on the next stitch for 2 single crochet worked on the next stitch. and you'll be left with last 2 stitches to complete your pattern. So I'm just starting off with the chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then I'll work 1 single crochet each for 2 stitches, and then I'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. And now I'll follow the pattern. I'll work 1 single crochet each for 4 stitches, and then I'll work 2 single crochet worked on the same stitch for the next stitch. You're going to repeat this pattern around. So you'll be left off with the last 2 stitches where you'll work 1 single crochet on each of them. Now we are left with last 2 stitches where we are going to work 1 single crochet on each of them, and then we'll work a slip stitch on top of your starting single crochet to close this round 4. So at the end of round 4 you should have 48 stitches. Now you can snip off your yarn and change your yarn color to pink. So the pattern for this round is you work 1 single crochet each for 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochet worked on the same stitch for the next stitch. But we are going to start this pattern little differently. We start with the increment. We work a chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then I'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch on the starting stitch, and then we'll work 1 single crochet each for 5 stitches, and then we'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. So as you know, in the end we'll be left with 5 stitches to work 1 single crochet on each of those stitches. So the pattern is working 1 single crochet each for 5 stitches, and then we'll work 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch. Continue this pattern around. You should be left with 5 stitches at the end. I'll meet you at the end of this round. Now you're left off with 5 stitches at the end. You're going to work 1 single crochet on each of them, and then you'll work a slip stitch on top of your starting single crochet to close this round 5. So at the end of round 5 you should have 56 stitches. So this is the last round. So after you work a slip stitch, leave a long tail and then snip off your yarn. So we have left a long tail at the beginning with the purple yarn as well. So now we are going to leave a long tail with this pink yarn as well, so that you can sew the ends. So I'm making this as a no sew pattern, so I'm just going to work slip stitches. So I'm going to bring the long tail at the front, and then I'll work slip stitches with the purple yarn on the foundation row. I'm going to keep the corresponding opposite edges together, and then I'll work slip stitches across. After that I'll work my last slip stitch, and then I'm going to pull that yarn bit inside the amigurumi itself. And now I'm going to pick up the pink color side, and then I'm going to keep both ends together, and then I'll work slip stitches on the back loop of the opposite stitches together. So we'll stuff our rainbow with polyfil as we go, working our slip stitches across. So now our rainbow is ready. You can just use your blunt tip of metal crochet hook to tuck in this odd bit of yarn inside the amigurumi itself. After this, let us work the squishy clouds with bobble stitch. So before working the cloud, you should know what is a bobble stitch. I've just given a brief introduction of what a bobble stitch is. You can pause your video and just have a read, but I'll be explaining it in detail when we are following the tutorial. So for the clouds, I'm going to need the white yarn. So with white yarn, I'm going to work a slip knot and then I'll work 8 chains. Go ahead, work 8 chains. So after working 8 chains, I'm going to work a yarn over, insert my hook on the second chain from the hook. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook on the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then we are going to repeat this 3 more times. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop. We have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. And then yarn over, insert your hook on the stitch, pull up a loop. We have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Now we have 4 loops. And then we are going to repeat this one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook on the stitch, pull up a loop. We have 6 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Now we have 5 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all of these 5 loops. We have worked our bobble stitch. Now on the next chain, I'm going to work 1 single crochet. So that's our squishy bobble stitch for the cloud. And then on the next chain, I'm going to work the bobble stitch once again. I'm going to yarn over, insert your hook on the chain, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only, and then repeat this 3 more times. So this is a 4 double crochet bobble stitch. That's the second time, and then third time, and then fourth time you just yarn over, pull through all the loops, and then I'm going to work a single crochet on the next chain, and then I'm going to work a bobble stitch on the next chain. After working a bobble stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet on the next chain, and then in the last chain I'm going to work a bobble stitch. Work a bobble stitch in the last chain. So after working your bobble stitch, you're going to turn your work. You're going to repeat everything on the opposite side. So I'm going to work 1 single crochet on top of the single crochet worked on the opposite side, and then I'll work 1 bobble stitch on the opposite side of the bobble stitch worked on the other side. You can work along with the loop that we have. So after working this bobble stitch, I'm going to work 1 single crochet on top of the single crochet worked on the opposite side. and then in the last 2 stitches on the opposite side we're going to work one bobble stitch on top of the bobble stitch worked on the opposite side, and at the last we'll work one single crochet on top of the single crochet worked on the opposite side. So after your last single crochet is worked on top of the single crochet on the opposite side, you're going to work a slip stitch on top of your starting bobble stitch to close this pattern. You can snip off your yarn and then weave through the ends. So you can just weave the ends and snip off the odd bits of the yarn. And then now your cloud is ready. You're going to need 3 more of these clouds. Total we need 4 of these clouds. So follow the pattern, work 3 more of the clouds. And then you're going to use the glue gun to attach the clouds. 2 clouds for each side. And then that's it. Your cute little squishy amigurumi is ready. My favorite part of this amigurumi is this squishy cloud. So what was your favorite part of this amigurumi? Comment down below. So the clouds are so squishy, which I liked so much. And you can also make the same pattern with size 4 acrylic yarn. You can find the free written pattern in my website, theyarnbowlcrochet.com. Link for that is available in the description. Please do not forget to subscribe to theyarnbowlcrochet.com. I hope you enjoyed making this rainbow amigurumi with me. Thanks for watching. Bye.